So what we want to do today is talk about composting. And basically what you're doing when you compost is you are integrating your household into natural cycles. You're taking material that may otherwise end up in a landfill or be wasted in some way, and you're using it to create a soil component that is very important for the growth of healthy plants. We are creating conditions so that bacteria can break down organic matter. Now, what do bacteria need? They need kind of the same things we need. They need air, they need water, and they need the right proportion of nutrients. The nutrient part is maybe the most complicated. In order for a compost pile to compost, you need to have the right proportion of carbon to nitrogen. Now that sounds really complicated, but it's really not very complicated. Bacteria thrive best at a ratio of about 25:1 carbon to nitrogen. You don't need to analyze the material to get that. Basically what you have is anything that's sort of brown and dry, like straw or dead leaves or old hay, something like that, has a very high carbon to nitrogen ratio. Lots of carbon in this, okay? Anything that is green, fresh grass clippings, kitchen scraps, they tend to have a much lower carbon to nitrogen ratio. In other words, they contain more nitrogen. So what we want to do when we build the pile is alternate layers of the brown, dry material with the fresh green material. And if you do that and also provide moisture for the bacteria and also provide a way for them to get air, they will multiply like crazy and decompose the material. The pile will actually heat up. A good compost pile should be around 100 to 120 degrees. And that achieves a couple things. It kills weed seeds for one, when the temperature gets that high. It also kills plant pathogens. So getting the pile to heat up is a really good thing. In order to do that, you have to build the pile at one time. In other words, we want to have enough material here layered in the way that I explained, with the air, with the water, so that there's enough volume for that heat to be generated and for the pile to be insulated. So this pile is it's been in place for about a week. So what I'm going to do is dig into this pile a little bit to show you a little bit what goes on inside a compost pile. So actually you should do this every once in a while so you can aerate the material. Now you can see that there's decomposition going on already right here. You see this? It's also warm. Can't tell that from just looking at it, but there is biological activity, and that's what we want. Now the lower we get, you can see the more decomposition taking place. Okay, so we want to put the pile back in the reverse order that we took it out. That way the material that was on top will be more towards the center, and the material that was in the center will be more on the top, so that all the material can get decomposed as uniformly as possible. And you can see we've been adding kitchen scraps in here, and this is well on its way to becoming wonderful soil organic matter. So after that's heated for a while, let me show you what you end up with over here in the wheelbarrow. This is finished compost. You can see it looks very much like soil, but it's very light. Really what you're doing is completing the cycle, speeding it up, and allowing the soil to get nutrients back into it that, if you have a garden, every time you harvest a crop, you're taking nutrients out of the soil. If you continue to do that and never put anything back, then the soil will become depleted. And you avoid the necessity for a large amount of inorganic fertilizer.